Alright guys, today I'll be giving you my top 10 favorite water slides I've been on as of January 3rd, 2023. Now, I haven't been on quite as many water slides as some other people, but I definitely have strong opinions on the ones I've been on. A couple quick honorable mentions before we get into the list are Cheetah Chase, a really fun mat racer slide at Kalahari Resort in Sandusky, Ohio. This used to be like a top five water slide for me, but the second time I went, it definitely wasn't as good. And then Paradise Plunge at Palm Island. This one's definitely really intense. It's a body slide, but it's a bit short for me, but that's all right. It's still a fun slide. So on to the main list. At the number 10 spot, I've got Wahoo Wave at Six Flags Darien Lake. This is their newest water slide, and it's definitely a fun one. Kind of feels repetitive with Tornado in the same park, but I like this a lot more than Tornado. So you're going to start off with a surprisingly fun little dip, and then you're going to go through a couple slow twists and turns, and then you're going to head down your big drop, which gives a little pop of floater airtime, which is pretty cool, given that you have no restraint. Then you're going to head up the wall, not really getting much there except maybe a little weightlessness. I don't know. You don't really get too much there. And then you'll kind of just wind your way back to the splashdown. You don't get very wet on this slide, but that's okay. The thrills are definitely really good on this slide, which is really what I'm looking for. So yeah, it's definitely not the craziest thing in the world, pretty short, but definitely a welcome addition to Darien Lake and definitely deserving of the number 10 spot for me. Now coming in at the number 9 spot, we've got Drop Canyon at Falls View Indoor Water Park in Niagara Falls, Canada. If you don't know which slide this is, it's the yellow one with the steep drop that just goes on forever. And that's basically what this ride is. There's a little pre-drop that's alright, doesn't really do anything. You can build up a bit of speed if you launch yourself into it. You coast for a little bit and then head down that big drop. You'll get a little bit of airtime, not too much. You'll kind of like float kind of down the track. It's weird. It's like you're skimming on water kind of, because you're not coming off the slide at any point, but like it also doesn't feel like you're attached to it. Like it's basically skimming water going down that drop, which is really fun. And then you have a really fun, really fast splashdown. You get really wet there. So overall, this is definitely a fun experience, mainly for that drop. And at the number 8 spot, coming slightly ahead of it, is the Bermuda Triangle, specifically the one in the middle at Waldemere. This one's pretty similar to Drop Canyon, although it is a bit shorter, but I think it has a steeper angle of descent. I don't know that for sure, but it feels a lot steeper. And I definitely think I know why they have a roof on that one, whereas they don't with Drop Canyon. And it's because like you actually kind of come off the slide. This one's really steep, and whereas you have a bit of time to prepare yourself for the drop on Drop Canyon, this one you just fly. I mean, you whip yourself down that thing, and then in the blink of an eye, you're gone. And it's a very short drop. I mean, this drop is like if one of Phantom's Revenge's final hills was a water slide. Like, that's kind of what this feels like in a way. So yeah, it's really crazy. Again, it's literally just the drop. There's absolutely nothing else. But that drop's definitely one of the best on any water slide, which is why it's up here at number 8. Coming in at the number 7 spot, if you've watched some of my other water park videos, the few that I have on this channel, you probably know that this is definitely one of my favorite slides. If not, this is going to confuse you so much. These are the 2 kiddie slides, not really kiddie, but family slides at Cascades Water Park. I know, you might be thinking, how are these things better than Bermuda Triangle, Wahoo Wave, Drop Canyon, all that good stuff? So basically, I'm a bit over the weight limit for these things, there's a 130-pound weight limit. I'm around like 160, somewhere around there. So you do have to get lucky and get a ride op that just doesn't really care. But if you do, and I've gotten a couple ride ops like that, you basically just have to go in for like an hour in the morning and then come back a couple other times a day to see if you get lucky. Because operators or lifeguards or whatever will change shifts throughout the day. So you gotta just find one that will actually let you do it. But if you do get a lifeguard or ride op or whatever that lets you go down these things, if you're over the weight limit, oh my God. There's basically, on the yellow side, there's one turn, and the red side, there's two turns that are slightly weaker than the turn on the yellow side, which is why I didn't separate these. But yeah, basically they're like not even 20 feet tall. By looking at them, you'd think they're like slides that should be in like a kiddie play structure, but you basically just wind through the first half of them, and then on both of them, there's a extremely violent whip just out of nowhere. I kind of compared it to Maverick Stangle dives if it was on a water slide, which, I mean, that's pretty crazy, especially on the yellow side. And then on the yellow side, you're just in shock at what just happened until you hit the splashdown. And then on red, you have another little surprise at the end that whips you into the splashdown. But neither of the whips on red are quite as violent as the one on yellow. But again, there's 2 versus 1, so it's pretty close. I personally like yellow slightly more just for the one huge whip. But I don't know. It's probably not nearly as good if you're lighter. That's probably why they have the weight limit in place to not put too much stress on the track, because someone who's heavier goes on it, that's going to put a lot of stress on the slide and maybe make it bend a bit more than it should. But I don't know. If you do get the chance to go down these slides, if you're over 130 pounds, definitely take it and just lap these things until someone says something, because these things are insane. Coming in at the number 6 spot is Typhoon at Six Flags New England, Hurricane Harbor. This is their water coaster. I had to wait about an hour for it, so that was kind of unfortunate. But when I got on it, it was definitely a really fun water slide. There wasn't particularly any pops of airtime, but it was definitely really fast. Definitely the longest water slide I've been on, I'd say. Definitely got you wet, which I wasn't really appreciating because I didn't really want to get wet that day, but whatever, it was fine. There's definitely, again, great sense of speed. You'll feel the turns. They're definitely a bit more intense than a normal tube slide. And overall, this is basically just a normal tube slide on steroids. So yeah, it's definitely a really fun one. And by the way, do not add this or any other water coaster to your credit count. I mean, a ride like Journey to Atlantis at SeaWorld, add that to your credit count, but don't add these water coasters to your credit count. That's just stupid. Anyways, at the number 5 spot, I've got Brain Drain at Six Flags Darien Lake. One of 3 capsule slides I've been on, or drop pod, or whatever slides these are called, I don't know. I'm just going to call them drop pod slides for now. This is the first of 3 drop pod slides I've been on, and it was definitely a crazy experience the first time I went on one of these. I did not expect it to be this fast. So basically, you get in this little capsule, and there's a little countdown that's actually a bit ahead of when you're going to drop. So when they say plunge, expect you to actually plunge a bit later than they say it. But again, you stand in this capsule, and the floor drops from beneath you, and you just plunge straight down. I mean, it's not straight down, but it kind of feels like it, because it's still really steep. You're basically just free falling for a second. It's like one of the greatest moments on any water slide for sure. And then you have a pretty short but satisfying layout after. There's a couple helixes, and then you're done. So it's not the greatest thing in the world, but it's definitely a really great water slide. And coming slightly ahead of it is Bonsai Pipeline at Six Flags New England Hurricane Harbor. This is basically just brain drain, but slightly longer, a couple more twists and turns. So yeah, basically everything I'd said for brain drain, take that and make it slightly better here. And do the same for my number 3 spot, Muskoka Plunge at Canada's Wonderland. This is, again, just slightly bigger and better Bonsai Pipeline, which is slightly bigger and better Brain Drain. So, yeah, I don't really need to say much for this one. Coming in at the number 2 spot is Tanzanian Twister at Kalahari in Sandusky, Ohio. This is a body slide, and you start off with a slow U-turn to the left that doesn't do anything, and then you're basically just going down a shallow ramp, not getting any forces really except picking up speed, which is fun, I guess. But then you enter the part of the ride that makes this thing special, and that is the bull section. Yes, this is one of those slides that you go through a bull section without a tube. It's just a body bull slide, basically. You go around the bowl. It's really fun just playing a guessing game of how you're going to fall into the pool. And then obviously you fall down the hole about 6 feet into the pool below you, and it's crazy. Sometimes you fall in normally, other times you fall in like head first, sideways, whatever. It's crazy. You don't know how you're going to end up. And some of the ways you fall down this hole are absolutely insane. So the variety and rewritability of this thing, combined with just how fun it is, and you do have some good speed whipping around the bowl coming out of that basically really shallow ramp, because, I mean, you picked up a lot of speed there, so you're going to feel it going around that bowl. So it's not like you're just sitting there waiting to fall down. So, yeah, this is definitely one of my favorite slides of all time. But coming in one spot ahead of it is Hurricane Hole at Splash Lagoon. This is basically the same kind of ride with the body bowl slide and everything. But I like the pre-bowl section a lot more on this slide because you do start off with another slow left-hand turn, but unlike Tanzanian Twister, which just has a shallow ramp going into the bowl, this ride, you have a pretty steep and fast right-hand turn going into the bowl. So not only are you feeling a lot more speed, you're banking to the right, and you do get a bit of weightlessness because of how steep this is. And again, it's a lot more fun than just going down a ramp. And you'll feel that in the bowl as well, going slightly faster in there. So yeah, Hurricane Hole's crazy and definitely deserving of the number 1 spot, at least for now, for my favorite water slide I have ever been on. But that's just my list, you know. I haven't been on too many water slides. I do kind of want to get out to some others, but, I mean, coasters come first for me. But, I mean, it's always fun to go to a new water park and try some new slides. So let me know what you guys thought of this list in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.